Hey there, sixth graders. This video is for Wednesday. What day is it? April 8th. I hope you guys are hanging in there. It was good to see a lot of you on Monday on the Zoom call. If you did not get to join us, I have uploaded that and put it on the Google Drive, and then it's also posted with a link to it in the Google Classroom. So if you weren't there or you want to go back and look at it again, that's going to be really helpful for you because we went over how to write limericks, which should be due this week. I'd love to see what you're working on. If you can, a couple of you emailed them to me directly. It's going to be easiest for me if you'll submit them through Google Classroom, and then I just have a record of everybody's coming in. At the beginning of our Zoom call, we used Harmon's computer to see how you submit through Google Classroom. So if you haven't done it yet and you're confused, you can go watch that Zoom call again and see how you send things in there. It's pretty simple. You take a picture, and then when you click on the assignment, you add it as an attachment. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm available every day from 9 to 2 on email. I can also set up one-on-one Zoom with you to just check in if you have a question about something specific, or if you want help with the technology or any of that. I'm glad to do it. Today, you are finished with limericks, and you should be working on writing free verse poetry. So that's yesterday you did. Yesterday and the day before was limericks. So today and tomorrow is free verse. Free verse is my favorite kind of poetry. There are no rules. So you can have rhyming, but you don't have to. You can have a rhyme scheme that's one way in the first stanza and it changes in the next one. You can use alliteration and have various lines start with the same letter. You can use similes and metaphors to make your point. Free verse is about expressing yourself in poetry. Some of my favorite free verse poetry does interesting things like has each line get longer so that as you're reading, the words make a triangle. Or sometimes I've seen free verse poetry where some words are written in really big font and some are written in really small font to sort of emphasize the different feelings. Other things that I love in free verse poetry are when you see automatopoeia, which is when you have a word that stands in for a sound, like click, clack, sploosh, and that kind of a thing, and it sort of sets a tone and takes you to somewhere. So there are instructions for you in your book about how to plan, write, and edit a free verse poem. I'm also going to attach a couple of links. One is to a middle school page at a different school, and that teacher has just some ideas. And what I like about that link is that there's a really funny Princess Bride clip where they do poetry on the spot. And then there's examples of various kinds of free verse poems. The other link I'm going to attach is just sort of a instructional how-to video. And in that, what I really like is that the teacher shows you free verse poetry and kind of some of the examples that I gave you just now. She shows ways in which you can create pictures with words. So if you want to look at those, you can also work on your own, and I'm here if you want to check in as a resource. Okay, you also get to finish the Redheaded League today if you haven't already. I wonder if you've already solved the mystery before you got there in the story, or if you're kind of figuring it out as you go. You'll find today, when you get to your work in your workbook, you're going to start with a page about foreshadowing. So I'm also going to attach another short clip about foreshadowing. But foreshadowing is basically, it's always present in mysteries, but it's often present in other kinds of stories. It's when the author begins to plant seeds or clues earlier on in a story about what's going to happen later. If you dig around on YouTube for a while, you can find that many of your favorite Disney movies do a lot with foreshadowing. They show you something in the beginning, and that comes to have a lot of meaning later on. So you're going to look for places where Sir Arthur Conan Doyle used foreshadowing in your Sherlock Holmes story. Then there's a vocabulary work, the crossword puzzle. Remember that the whole goal of this is making you a better speaker, a better writer, a better reader, and so they give you that green box that has all the words in it, and if you're not sure of a definition, I would love for you to dictionary.com, look it up, and figure out the meaning. And then finally, today you're going to be reading a short article and just showing that you can sort of pull out the main ideas from that, which is a skill we always want to be working on. You're going to finish up your spelling today. They ask you to write a letter to someone, which I think is a cool exercise. And then remember that because we have a short week, Good Friday on Friday, I will give the spelling test tomorrow on the video. I hope you have a lot of fun getting started on drafting your free verse poem. The assignment for today specifically asks you to look at the word web that's included in the book, and then to use that format on a blank piece of paper to make your own word web and begin organizing your ideas before you go ahead and do the first draft of your poem. Okay, guys, see ya in the Google Classroom or online. Hope you're hanging in there. Talk soon.